Hey, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is when you are watching this. I want to talk about today for day 23 of my transformation, or this journey that I'm on, of reclaiming freedom and visibility, not shrinking. I want to talk about the pause. I read a really great devotional this morning from the book Until Today by Iyanla, and it's daily devotions for like spiritual health and growth and things like that. So today for July 23rd says, I will gain more understanding when I realize to be on pause is a good thing. I'm going to go ahead and read this, and then I'm going to give you my kind of like the reflection or the thought that I had. Okay, see if it resonates with you too. So she writes, everything has to stop at some time in order to keep going. When driving, you must pause at stoplights and stop signs. On a train, there may be stops before you reach your destination. An airplane stops at the head of the runway before it ascends into the sky. Knowing this, why do we believe that we can move from experience to experience without stopping, refueling, or resting? Most of us will not leave one job until we have another. As soon as one romance is over, we begin our prowl to find another. We go from work to home, to work, some more. Even a quiet, relaxing evening could mean reading, talking, playing with the dog. Some of us feel guilty about doing things that do not earn an income or meet some responsibility of our lives. We believe that doing nothing is not a good thing, when in fact, it is the best thing we could do for ourselves. I love that. To stop, to rest, or to pause means to do no thing. It means no thinking, no moving, no decisions. When you press the pause button on the audio or video machine, everything stops. No picture, no sound, no movement. The images and sounds of life must come to a halt if you want to have a clear picture about what to do next. What a blessing it is to push the pause button, to have the ability to stop and gather strength, or to wait until things have passed before turning a corner and moving forward. A pause in life's journey does not mean that nothing is happening. Ding, ding, ding. In reality, it is a divine opportunity to be present and catch up with all that is going on. Until today, you may have been afraid to stop moving or doing in life. Just for today, push the pause button. Be still. Shut down. Stop your movement just long enough to check up on yourself. Unless you pause, you may not know if you are fast forwarding or going in reverse. That was so juicy. I'm so glad. I tend to pick things up and stop them because life, I just get so distracted by other really good things. And so I re-picked up this devotional, this daily devotional recently. I bought it several years ago and I never finished it. And so I'm like, let me be intentional about how I start and finish things. So I really want to go through this day by day as much as possible. Anyway, on to my reflections on what she said. Let me get my other notes here. Hold on. All right. So this is what I immediately wrote down. I said, when life or God forces the stop, you have two choices in the moment: to allow and be still, or to continue on distractedly, mindlessly, pushing, to push. What did I say? To push. Wow, I don't even know what this says. Instead of rest, even if just for a moment. Think about it. What things do you do at a stoplight, for example? You fix your makeup. You check to see if your hair is blended. You might be mad because you're at a red light. You're intentionally stopped. So maybe you're mad at other people because you know how sometimes you pull up to a light and that green light on the other side is taking 11 years. We've all been there. If you know, you know. So you might be mad because you're in a rush. You're in a hurry. You have places to do, places to be, people to do, places to be, people to see, maybe people to do too. I don't know. That's your business. But, but sometimes you be big mad at that stoplight. At least I know I have been a time or 10 because you're like, dang, I'm trying to hurry up. You're in a rush or you're in a hurry. You have this whole priority of things you're trying to accomplish. Maybe groceries, getting to work, going to see somebody, maybe you're having a lunch date, whatever, interview, whatever the case may be. Or go do something fun that you've been waiting on. but these lights be stopping you, you know. Um, and you have places to go, damn it, but you can't because you are being intentionally forced to stop. But think about it. Those red lights, those pauses, those breaks, those interruptions are there for a reason, primarily to continue to allow flow to happen at an even pace, to protect you. How many times have you stopped at a red light and then the traffic is going in the opposite direction and then they get a red light and then it's your green and you jump out quickly and someone still is going through the light? I've had that happen before. Let me tell you, where I used to live, and I'm going somewhere with this, where I used to live in California before I moved, there was a light on the corner of my house, or where I lived. There were accidents there all the time because people did not want to be intentional in the pause. And as soon as their green light came up, they were on to the races very quickly. But you know, like when there's a pause, there's a reason for it, especially at a light, and it's to make sure that everyone is safe, right? So what I had to do was go to the city. I sent them an email and I just said, hey, there are accidents here every week. Like you can literally hear them almost every day. People just, you know, that sound of a car crash almost every day, several times a week. And so I took it upon myself to ask for a more intentional pause to hopefully preserve someone's life. And very quickly they emailed me back because I had said, you know, can you please make the red light longer on both sides because people are running the red light. They're just in such a rush. They are running the red lights. And they said, yes, we can do that. We can delay the greens on both sides for a few seconds. And guess what? Within a day or two, it was done. I don't know how they did it. Maybe it's a digital thing. I really don't know, but it was done. And there were less accidents. So when you have a pause, when there is a break, a lot of times it's for our safety. And as much as we are, at least for me, fighting it, big mad sometimes, like, God, why isn't this happening right now? Why am I having to be still? Why am I having to not move forward? Why aren't things going the way I want them to go? Why can't I just, no matter what, I'm pushing so hard, I'm going so hard, I'm trying to do all the things and be very productive and organized and da-da-da-da. Why are things not happening? A lot of times it's for our protection. A lot of times it's because you are being asked to take some time to be still. Sometimes we don't like stillness because it means, in our eyes, the stiller you are, the less is happening. The stiller you are, the less tables you're shaking. The stiller you are, the less movement, the less things you are able to do on your own, right? I think in those pauses, God is reminding us, hey, this is a tag team. This is a joint partnership. You don't have to be moving all the time. You just don't. You don't have to be forcing all the time. Take the pause, sis. Take the moment of silence. Take the moment of stillness. Take the moment of rest. Take the moment at the lights, for example, when instead of doing your makeup, when you're at a red light, instead of checking your phone, instead of doing your makeup, instead of taking another 2 bites of your sandwich, that would be me. Instead of being mad that you are intentionally having to wait to be still, take a second, close your eyes, take a breath, hold it, let it out, drop your shoulders, be still, allow that stillness to, even for a few seconds, to comfort you, to remind you that even in the stillness, things are happening in your favor. You know, when she mentioned the plane taking time to ascend, even though you are being still, you are being forced to be still, because what do they tell you to do? You have to stay in your damn seat. You're not allowed to just be moving around the cabinet all willy-nilly, okay? You have to sit down, put on your seatbelt, shut up. You ain't got to shut up, but you got to be still. But things are happening behind the scenes. There are, 2 pilots in the cockpit. You can't necessarily see them, but they are there ensuring the safety of you and all the other souls on board. They are sitting there checking the machinery, checking the, I don't know what they do, checking the numbers, checking in with the air tower, making sure that the fuel, like the people are down there fueling up, or checking whatever they check, and guiding them. Like, there's just probably a million things that happen while you were sitting there on that airplane waiting to take off, before it, waiting for that movement, waiting for that force of movement. You know what it is when that plane starts to move and taxi and all that. Like, you're waiting for all that to happen. And sometimes we're so impatient, but though that pause, that waiting is there for your protection. For your protection. So yeah, today's devotional, it was a great reminder about the pause, because the pause can mean so many things. Not only is it stillness, but it's also, to me, the way that I interpret it is that there are pauses sometimes in your journey, in your growth, in your life, because God is doing things behind the scenes that sometimes you'll never even necessarily know about. Like, there won't be a little wink or a cosign, but you'll just notice that things are down the line. Like, the pause that you take today may have a ripple effect a year from now. You know what I mean? So don't be mad about the pause. If you're in a season of pause, if you're in a season where you're being asked to slow down, as frustrating as it can be sometimes, just remember that those pauses are for a reason. They're for a reason. So don't fight it. Just go with it. Flow with it. Be still. I'll see you tomorrow.